The 2020 network presents REAZNS, a mental health summit. I'm Dee Jones.
And I'm Terrence Battles.
And we are here to be facilitators and moderators for the mental health summit for today. I'm looking forward to just being able to connect with other individuals that'll be a part of the panel and talk about topics that are, essentially affecting all of us on a mental health level. So stay tuned, buckle up. It might get a little intense, but hey, we're going to work through it.
Yeah, and I look forward to having these conversations with these guys because, man, don't get to talk to each other as much as we should. And we'll see where things can go and see what we can process emotionally and find out what being a man really is at this point in time in 2024. What, 5? Yeah, appreciate it.
All right.
One more time.
This is REAZNS. This is a mental health summit. I am Terrence Battles. I am a licensed practicing counselor. We are here today to explore us, right, as men, to identify issues that we have and be able to find ways to be vulnerable to explore ourselves, right? So, do I need to go into what this is or no? Okay. So what we're going to do today is we have these jars. We're going to be able to pull from each one of us, and it's going to have topics that we have to explore. And then we have this jar here, the chaos jar is what they call it, is where we have really intense questions, right, that makes us have to dig deep. Now, when we pull from this, all conversations stop, and we focus on that, right? So, gentlemen, are you guys ready?
Yeah.
All right. So, who wants to pull first?
Oh, wait. You gotta let everybody listen.
Oh, my bad. All right. So, I introduced myself. Can you introduce yourself now?
Yeah, I'm PJ, also known as Holiday, spoken word hip hop artist, studio engineer, founder of Halo City Entertainment, production team based here in Mobile, father of 4, married for 4 years since 2020. So yeah.
Okay.
My name is Jonathan, also known as Elizabeth's daddy, or TK's husband. Married for 10 years, be 10 years this July.
Okay.
And proud father of one happy bouncing 1-year-old.
My name's Chuck, father of 3. I've been married 2 years, and I just be chilling. I work with Jeremy.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. So, I guess since you're the first one in line, did you want to start off?
I can start off.
All right.
Ooh, I ain't gonna be the chaos started out. I'm just gonna see what I can get over out of here. What could we do with less of? Okay. It's actually been a big conversation in my household lately. But we talk a lot about diets, how we eat, and things we take in, and how it's so hard to get a meal without processed foods, overly sugary foods, diet food, so on and so forth. Just a lot of unnatural stuff. So yeah, that's just the first thing that comes to mind with things that I know I could do with less of. Just getting back to a more natural diet, just all around as a people.
Okay, that's good. Good. For myself, this is a hard question for me. Maybe I would say less time stressing on the little things in life, right? I'm big on trying to focus on my friendships and family, and I put a lot of time into how to make them happy and not enough time for me. Something I tell a lot of my clients, especially ones that they're married like these guys and have children, is that we tend to forget ourselves a lot, and we need to put ourselves on the schedule, right? So that's what I'm trying to focus on more now. So less time spending it on everyone else and putting myself on the schedule.
That's side note for us, but that schedule stuff really does work.
Yeah.
Just like in life in general, like me and my wife do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, I can do a lot less of social media. I'm not hurt if TikTok goes away tomorrow.
God, me too.
I really can care less. I really can care less if Facebook goes away. Only thing I wish you can keep for something like that is I'm a big group person, so when you find like your people and it's really good to talk about and do things with, and the marketplace. About that, if I can separate that two, I'd be golden. I really wouldn't care about social media.
Yeah, for me, like you said, it'll be the food thing. I'm just noticing, like, as I'm getting older, my body's reacting differently to things that I like always eating, and it's been kind of like a challenge to just switch the diet up because it's just inconvenient. But yeah, also the social media. I'm pretty big on Facebook. Not like big as like big following, but like I'm on it. But yeah, I wouldn't care if TikTok went away. Yeah. I think that a lot of our like kind of things that kind of plague the black community right now is like performative a lot for social media, and if it wasn't there, maybe people have like a little bit more self-control and make better decisions. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let me ask this before we get, what's y'all ages? I would like to know. How old are you?
32.
Okay.
35.
31.
Okay, so we all around the same age. I'm about to be 33 in about 2 weeks. So want to give me something, you can. I'm going to go ahead and pull from, I'm going to let y'all know I'm always going to pull from the chaos. He gave me that option. So let's see what we got. All right, what mental states do you find yourself in most often? Okay. Honestly, at this point in my life, I'm pretty peaceful. Right, like I said, I spend a lot of time focusing on myself now, putting myself on the schedule. Like I said, before, when I was a new therapist, I spent a lot of time trying to find out how to make my way, how to make as much money as I can, how to get as far in my career as I could, to the point where I was sleeping only like 4 or 5 hours a day, right? Because I was working 16, 18 hours a day, 3 different jobs. So at this point, I know I can't do that anymore because I was getting to the point where I almost had glaucoma because they said I had stress in my, too much stress coming through my eyes, right? So I said, I got to slow down. So at this point, more peace. That's where the mental state I have the most of at this point.
You can come back to me. I got to think about that question.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I think my mental state has been a lot of being at peace lately as well. Really, I think I've always strived to have that peaceful demeanor, energy, mindset.
Yeah.
You know, since I was a teenager. But I got to be honest. At the same time, there's things that I see around me that I find issues with that may or may not be within my control. And I know that there are things that are right in front of me that I know that have to be taken care of, leaps that have to be taken before I can feel like I can get to all this over here. So when I get there, I feel like maybe I won't be at this peaceful state that I'm trying to maintain. Or I don't know if I'm purposely keeping this stuff away so I can maintain the peaceful state but not really achieving true peace, if that makes sense. So I do like to consider myself at peace, but there's always this lingering thought that maybe I'm not dealing with something that I should be dealing with.
So how you find that balance in between?
Like I said, I take what's in front of me. Yeah. I take what's in front of me. I make sure what is in my control. I try to make sure I'm, on top of dominating it. Until it gets to a point where I start to feel something. Now, like I said, I got 5 other people that live in my household, so sometimes it's hard for me to be walking around smiling when my wife might have something going on, or my kids might be struggling with this, or they might be missing spending time with me, but I got other things to do. But I know once I get done doing what I gotta do, all right, I know I gotta make time for, my kids, take them to the park, to the playground, find an activity or something for us to go do. So like I said, I just take what's in front of me. Some things have deadlines, some things don't. And the things that do, I just make sure I hit those deadlines as much as possible.
Okay. But do you find time for yourself?
I think I do, because that's definitely one thing that I've never been able to do without. Like, I'm not myself if I don't have time for myself, and everybody around me knows that. So, and they've started to accept it. But again, I'm in a space where I feel like maybe I'm making so much time for myself because I'm having struggles dealing with this other stuff that I should be dealing with, or maybe I'm just keeping myself peaceful. I reflect on it. I don't really have an answer, but I do reflect on it. I think about it.
Okay. You thought about what you wanted to say yet?
Yeah. I just think my mental state is more of content. Sometimes it's peaceful. A little bit chaotic, but more now is being more content where I'm at. And it's kind of hard to explain that because just due to what year we in, 2025, 2023, we had my baby. My wife had our child. She was preemie. She came early, and then 2 weeks after that, my mom passed. So in 2024, it was just me trying to find time for take care of my wife because she still had to recover, and then take care of go check on my baby, going back and checking on baby because our baby was in there for 112 days. So, and then dealing with the grief of my mom, and so I didn't know how to process that. So it was just doing back and forth and doing that, and I realized I didn't slow down until everything didn't hit me until I want to say March 20th, a little bit, because that's when we brought the baby home.
Okay.
So when we brought the baby home, I started going through, I think the emotions from my mom started hitting me and everything like that. And then I was just really bad focusing. Like I was like really, really bad at state. So I would like count the steps from my mom's hospital room to the hospital, USA, which is 1,452 steps from my mom's room to USA. 8-minute drive, 5-minute walk. So I knew all of that, but I couldn't get them two together. So that messed with me a lot, and like in my mental. So I just had to really figure out how to slow down and start prioritizing things the right way. And so I knew I couldn't keep focusing on that because it's not good to mourn the dead. And like I got my wife here, and she's still going things with her body and everything, so I had to be there for her and just start slowing down and mentally getting myself in check. So I found things I can do to, what's the word I want to say? Keep in check and just like I guess it's called a system, and just to figure out where I need to be. So from then to now, I'm doing way, way better. I still have slips and everything, so I can say I'm more content because we're in a better state than we were last year. So I say content to peaceful, and it goes back and forth. But it's one of the things that it is what it is. It just takes time to manage.
Yeah. So you want to live in a life that's just it is what it is?
Nah, not right now. It's peaceful. We get into how can I say? It's just a lot to me still unpacking about it, and just trying to figure out. But I learned how to deal with my feelings with my mom passing, and that was the biggest issue. So I write almost every day. When I'm at work, because I work at an infirmary, so it's right next to USA. Okay. So I'd go walking back and forth, and that just helped me with my mental state. So it's just a lot, but it's just taking me time to get to an area where I would say I'm more at peace. So, and then I got a great wife, and she helps me with it and everything. So,
okay.
I do have a question though. You said that it wasn't good to mourn the dead.
Yeah.
What did you mean by that?
Like the way I was mourning, I was thinking about it 24/7. Like it would bother me 24/7 because I can tell you the day my mom passed is because it's like we took her to this place called SAD, and that's where they make you find the transition. And I went home by myself because my wife was still in the hospital. And so my brother called me that morning, and my iPhone just went through an update, so it went all black, and I couldn't get it open or nothing like that. So I'm panicking, my phone goes. Then my brother told me my mom's passed, and so we went out there to my mom, see her off, and then I had to go direct to the hospital because my wife was having issues with her C-section. So I didn't have time to think of nothing but my wife. And when I was asleep, I would just think about my mom. And then when I go see my child, I think about my mom. I can take my mom to see my baby. And it was just over and over and over for like 5 to 6 months. And I was like saying I miss my mom, but it was to the point where it was making me sick, to the point that like I can do this with my mom, or she can help me, and I would get mad, I would get angry, I would get jealous of all the other things. Like my cousins she stays in Germany, and her child got to see my mom before she passed. And I didn't have that, so it would make me mad. And things I couldn't do or because my mom was so close for the baby. I knew everything she would do, but she wasn't here, and I was getting upset and just thinking that over and over and over and over. And that just wasn't healthy for me. I'm in a good state of mourning my mom now, about thinking about the good times and good things out there, especially when I write, like that Apple journal, the journal on app on Apple. That thing was magical. And just because the fact that it reminds you to write, and it kind of picks up what you're writing about. And it's like, hey, talk about a good time that you had about your mom, or what was your mom think about doing this and doing that. And so I got better at doing that and stopped thinking about the things I don't have and the things I know what she would tell me, and tell me, I know you need to do this, fat boy. You need to do that. Your child is not, I don't know why you sit up here, what was it, the baby was coughing. I don't know why you sit up here that long. You know you need to take the baby to the hospital. So I can just start hearing it, and that became more of a joyous and stuff like that. So, and like I said, it takes time for me to get to the point where I'm at, and it's just I'm more at a joyous point now. But it kind of slips back and forth sometimes.
Good answer.
Yeah, I'm at peace. I just finished my bachelor's degree this past semester, so I got like a lot. Thank y'all. I got like a lot off my plate, and I don't know, I kind of feel like I'm finally in like a place where I'm getting out of my own way. And I don't know, it's like I'm at peace. Things are going good, but it's like I need to be doing something. So I like started working out and doing things like that, but I want to actually like kind of grow my career and my wealth. So it's like I kind of got like ants in my pants, like high expectations of yourself, but like you haven't actually done any of it yet. So I don't know, kind of feel like I'm like standing in front of like a big ass mountain, like, do I even want to try this shit? But you'd be like disappointed with yourself if you don't. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
It's good. Okay.
I appreciate y'all.
Oh, you gonna go for it?
Yeah. At what age are you considered a auntie or uncle? Huh?
They did just put a list
I
out
think
there.
I just
didn't
saw
they?
it.
They just dropped the
Yeah.
list.
I'm right there at it. I would say about right now, about the age I'm
Yeah.
at, about 35. I had a YN give me my street name.
Why?
Why?
YN gave me a street name the other day. So
What's your street name?
it's Big Unc still walk them down on the weekend apparently.
Oh, okay.
Hey, yo.
Yes,
Okay.
that's my street name.
Still walking down
on the weekend. Yeah.
Okay. How do you feel about being a onk now?
I guess blessed because I'm still here.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, they say it's just a new form of saying like OG.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I take it, but I'm staying in the house now though.
Man.
Okay. I don't know if there's much more to say about that one. Y'all got anything to say about it?
I'm gonna just say I'm with you. I'm riding with the list.
Yeah.
Unc is like 46. I'm big bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we gotta look at it from the young kids' state of mind. Our uncles are in their 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
Right.
And I did have a YN call me old school. We was hooping the other day.
That's
And I didn't like that at all. I know I'm a little bald up here.
Nah.
I ain't quite old school yet.
Just wait for them knees to tell you. Your knees.
Yeah.
it's already doing that. Okay. All right.
All right. Well,
We might
what
well
I
not even
came to
have
do. Let's see. Listen, but we don't judge. That's all it says.
Listening, we don't judge.
Yeah.
Oh. I can't go first with this.
Me either.
I need to see what we not judging.
Judging, yeah.
I'll start like, it doesn't matter who you are, and damn near under any circumstances, if you don't die, if you fall down in front of me, I'm gonna laugh. Old lady, baby,
Those the best.
slip on a banana peel, disability. It's gonna happen. Something wrong with me. It's like a button. Boop, laughing.
If you waiting for a parking spot, I'm gonna take it. Yeah,
One of them.
especially this up front. And get out holding Elizabeth like what?
That's cheating. You gonna hold up the baby?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna be all the way honest here, right? Because we not judging. I had to school up because I wouldn't say this anywhere else but for the 2020 podcast, LLC. Please say the LLC. But I made deep eye contact with a transgender person one time.
I was ready for the rest of it.
No, that was it. No, it was nothing further. That was it.
But that's not something people normally say. So I feel
That's not something I would normally say. But I just wanted to say that happened. Very deep eye contact.
All right.
So are you trying to figure out, like, who or...
I felt somebody looking at me. And I looked and I said, oh, okay.
So y'all had like a genjutsu battle, or like, what happened?
Yeah. It was all right. It was all good.
Mutual respect?
It was mutual respect. It's just that we've been homeboys for years, right? I feel like we've never made deep eye contact.
Okay.
I don't think
I feel it.
you understand what I'm getting at. It's not a comfortable. It wasn't comfortable. Nothing wrong with it. I don't feel.
But it's just something.
It wasn't something that. So I just didn't want to be judged for that.
You gazed in her eyes?
Huh?
You gazed in her eyes? Like you was like a deep, longing gaze? No, he was staring.
It was
I am clipping.
eye contact across the room.
Yeah, that's a good
Like, you
one.
know, this
Non-verbal communication.
It was eye
Like, was you
contact
just like
from across the
was
room.
your brain just out in space when you just stand or you just
No.
Is it like non-verbal communication?
Non-verbal communication.
What was being
And
communicated?
I looked. Nothing was. Okay, so what was being communicated was I see somebody staring at me, and I start staring back. And as I'm staring, I'm starting to realize
Something ain't right.
I might need to stop staring. Because
You realized that you was staring.
yeah, it might be some weird. I mean, I don't want to get things twisted here, you know. But I didn't know until the deep stare occurred. Then I realized, okay,
That you was staring. You didn't realize you was staring.
exactly.
Okay.
I'm sure
Okay.
y'all follow me here.
I get what you're saying now. That's explaining. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
I hear you. I really can't think of anything good, y'all. No, I'm just like I'm so open. I don't really worry about being judged. So I'm coming up with some real basics, so don't get upset. in my sessions, a lot of times I get more from it than my clients do, right? So I'm doing more therapy for myself at times for myself. Then I see myself in their situations and I connect with it a lot of the time. So sometimes I'm talking, they're like, they ain't even me. I'm like, it's me sometimes. That's what I have to work on, but that's one thing I can think of. So don't judge. It's your turn, right?
Him and that chaos.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody going
That's
for the
all we
chaos.
doing.
See this. What else is chaotic in here? Uh-oh.
I pull every time for y'all, so it's okay.
This is my first one. Are you more like your father or your mother? Does it scare you? Ooh.
Ooh, shit.
Yeah, that's chaotic right there. My dad's actually staying with us right now. And I'll say I'm more like him.
Yep.
Because my mom used to get on my nerves. Like, my mom used to be that mama that was gone. She was gonna talk. She was gonna drag the situation all the way out. She was gonna attribute you messing up something to something that's totally unrelated. Like, you might drop a dish on the floor and she'd be like, if you wasn't thinking about that girl, you wouldn't have dropped that dish. And I'm like, I mean, it was wet, but okay. But my dad has this, I guess, sort of tendency to want to be well represented, even in situations where he might have messed up or didn't do something well, or is paying for something that he might have done way back when. And as long as the person that is between him and the person, as long as it stays between him and the person or people that is between, he could be fine with everybody else. But once things start to spill over and it starts to affect other people and people that he didn't want to know get involved and know that, all right, you got some skeletons in your closet or you ain't been sweeping around your front porch type of deal, it becomes an issue for everybody else. And I found myself kind of being that, trying to do that, trying to, keep my shortcomings from being visible, and, even to the point where I might lie, I might, bend the truth, I might just go missing just to avoid the situation. And as of late, and yes, to answer the question, it is definitely scared the shit out of me. Because once I got married and I realized that somebody was gonna be with me every day and I was gonna see them every day, it was just, I realized how much I was trying to hide, how much I was trying to cover up. To the point now where it's like I try to be such an open book, and I keep my circle tight, because me keeping my circle tight and only communicating certain things with certain people that I know I can trust, that keeps me from being wide open and exposed to somebody I may not want to know that I'm going through a certain type of situation. So, being able to call on sir and be like, hey bro, I'm struggling with this right now. You got a minute? Like, and to know that I'm gonna have somebody that's gonna come through every time. May not be able to come through in the way that I need them to come through, but I'm gonna at least know I'm supported. You feel me? And I'm not judged to an extent. So yeah, definitely more like my dad, and it's made me work on myself for sure. For sure. Anybody need to reread the question?
No, I got it. Okay. I'm definitely like my dad. He's not even my biological father, but he's been there since I was 2 years old, right? So that shows you how environment plays a little bit more than genetics sometimes. We used to get into it a good bit. We still do, actually. We're kind of beefing right now, because we're too much alike. And my mom told me that when I was younger, you can end up just like him, and it's a soft spot for me because it's stressful because we two strong-willed, hard-headed men. He's a Alabama fan, made me an Auburn fan, right?
Ooh.
That's how. There we go. So he like LeBron. I'm Kobe, right? And that's just how it always been for me and him. Where it's been very stressful in finding that middle ground for us. Yeah, and we value the same things, and intelligence, the way we show ourselves to the community and things of that nature. And but our views are so different at the same time in the way that we go about it. If he would have heard you talking about that trans thing, he would have just automatically had a problem with you, right?
That's
So,
old school, right?
yeah.
That's old school.
And then he was like, "It's still a he." I'm like, "Nah, it's a she." And then we
Right.
get into it, right? So having those issues that we had with me growing up and he not making it easy for me, now seeing it as an adult, how it molded me into who I am, means a lot. So, but definitely more like my father now because because I work with children in foster care as well, and I'm big bro, uncle, whatever to them, and I do the same things he did with me. So I see a lot of myself in my dad at this point. It scares me a little bit because I don't want to put people through the same traumas I went through of not getting the words of affirmation that I wanted. Because everything was an expectation. Like you're supposed to make straight A's, you're supposed to be scoring touchdowns and all this type of stuff. But yeah, so it's difficult thinking about it now because I haven't thought about that in a while. But I'm just like him, and it scares the hell out of me. Yeah.
Much is it's weird because with a beard, I look like my dad. Look, when this thing, it look just like my dad, like a light skinned version of my dad. But if I shave my face, clean face, I look just like my mama.
Wow.
It's really bad. But if I had to say, it's more of my mom and my mom tendencies, and it is not even just like, it's just like weird things she used to do, and I find myself doing. Like she would sit on the sofa and she would just sit back and rub her knee, and my wife was sitting up there with just like, "Why you rubbing your knee like your mama?" I was like, I don't know. But she it's the same craftiness. She was real big in making like she was a seamstress. She made like wreaths, costumes and random things like that, and I found myself doing the same thing, making candy wreaths and just picking up the craftiness side of her. She also told me, I overthink like my dad. So she said I have to find the perfectionist at something like he did. But it's more my mom than anything. It's just some of the same things she like. I still listen to the same music she listened to. Like I can name you every Al Green song there is just because of every Luther Vandross song that is because of her. So yeah, it's definitely Miss Sandra Williams.
I think it's a mixture of both. Like you talk to my wife and my family and everything. Everybody always says I have like the same mannerisms as my dad. Like I talk like him, walk like him, and like laugh like him. Have like the same sense of humor. But I think the real big difference is like my dad's like kind of like a soft-hearted person. Like he just tries to see the good in everybody, whereas my mom's like more vindictive, and you piss her off, like that's it, it's over forever. And I'm like that. So I don't know. It's a mixture of both. It's interesting. I know growing up, me and my mom actually butted heads a lot. My dad would kind of be like the peacemaker. But, yeah, it's just kind of like a 50-50 split, I think, yeah.
Okay. Who would you want to be more like if you had to choose?
It depends on the situation, because I feel like if my parents weren't married, there'd be a lot of situations where like somebody would probably get over on my dad, but my mom's just not having that. And like, I'm just not having it. So it just, and then there's like other situations where it's like, where you need to be like more soft-hearted, you know what I mean? Like you need to be a little bit more understanding and compassionate, and like kind of just slow down and give people some grace. So it's like a balance.
Okay.
And sometimes I fuck up when to do what, but
Do you have the same dynamic in your own relationship that your parents have?
yeah, but like flip, like my wife's soft-hearted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I was just wondering. Oh yeah, I know what type it is. Oh, this long. Okay. You get $50,000, and you can't share any of it, or your friend gets $150,000, and you can never receive any of it. I'm taking the 50.
Taking a 50.
Yeah. My friends are pretty well off. They're good. They don't need it. I got to pay for my student loans off. So that'll be a third of it. But yeah, right. I've been in school. I'm working on my doctorate now. I've been in school for about 12 years straight. Appreciate it. But it's costly. So I'm taking the 50.
What that was, you keep 50 or give 150 to your friend?
Yeah, but you can't get any of it.
I give it to my wife and just reap the benefits of it.
You can't get nothing from it. You can't get nothing from it.
You cannot benefit.
Can't benefit from it? Oh, I'm taking the 50 then.
Yeah,
Exactly.
taking a 50.
Every day. Exactly. Buy me some Legos, I'll be happy.
I'm taking a 50.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and make it unanimous.
That was the easy one.
That was the easy one now.
Yep. We gonna be able to do more than two?
No.
Okay, this is my second
Yeah, we got to have a real conversation.
I can make up some questions later.
I mean, you can pull however many you want.
I know, but I'm just saying I got stuff in my head.
Name a moment when you didn't feel supported.
Mm.
Ooh.
I saw everybody nod just then. Y'all went directly to that memory.
Oh, man.
I can't think of none.
You say you can't?
Can't think of none. No.
See, that's the thing. I really can't.
I can't think of none. Yeah, for me, like, it's going back to being like my dad. Like, I be trying to empathize with people because I have like a lot of friends, a lot of people that have been through like a lot, and like compared to them, I really haven't. Like, I've lost my grandparents and like a couple of aunts and uncles, but like I haven't had like no real crazy like tragedy in my life, and I'm 31 and I feel blessed for that. But like I've always had family around me supporting me, and I'm like the youngest grandson on both sides, so it's kind of like yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm the firstborn out of me and my sister, but yeah.
Yeah, I really can't think of any time, man. Even when I didn't feel like I was supported, I knew I actually was. That was just me feeling my feelings.
Yeah.
Even like with my mom and all that happened with them, my job was even supportive. It was like checking on us. They bought us food and like make sure we was all right. They brought me my paperwork to me. They're like, hey, so you need to fill out this the FMLA and all of that. So I really can't. I'm really sitting here trying to think. I really didn't. I can say something about it, like a previous job I had, but I really can't. But my circle of friends and family, and my current job is really supportive, so I really can't say that. I'm pretty blessed in that department.
Well, I got something. Right. There's a reason why we become therapists. Right? Like I said, me and my dad had our issues. A lot of my not feeling supported is is self-imposed to a certain degree. I've always been a very independent person. My dad basically kicked me out in a way, and then I had to do everything on my own. Right, get my apartment. I was 20, apartment, getting all the stuff. He wouldn't co-sign for nothing, so I was out there. I had to figure it out. Now I could ask my mom. I could ask my friends, but I was always built on like you figure it out on your own. So I made my life a lot harder than it was supposed to be, in a sense. But yeah, so that's where I didn't feel as supported because I was doing a lot at the time, working 2 jobs, school, and all that stuff. And I thought I would get the assistance. My dad was like, "This is gonna make you a man," right? That was his mentality. Like I said, he's old school, and so he was like, "You'll figure it out." I did, but it took longer. You know, it got me in debt and all that type of stuff. And but I found a way to get out of it. Helped me with my financial skills, things of that nature. But even to this day, it's hard for me to reach out for assistance. I'm getting better with it. My friends, I asked them just to check in at this point to see if I'm okay. And when I say I am, keep digging because I'm lying. So now I feel more supported. But in my early 20s, I would say that self-imposed, not feeling supported.
Like I said, Halo City is my production team, and for the most part, it's just me and K. Marie. But if you ever known how much it takes to make a flyer, create an event, put together an event description, book artists, find a venue, print flyers, deliver flyers hand to hand, tell people about your show, have them stopping people in public, talking to cashiers at the grocery store, and nobody come to your show, you feel unsupported AF. I'm blessed and grateful to say that that's only happened like maybe once or twice where nobody showed up. It may not. A lot of shows have, been pretty successful, but in times like that where all this work and effort, money was put into creating something what you see is dope and what should be a great time, and then nobody show up, and you having to pay people out of pocket and things like that. That'll make you feel unsupported. I never say I've never felt unsupported like long term with things, but just events like that where, like I said, you put all that work into it and nobody show up. It's like, why am I even doing this?
Right.
But then you turn around and do it again the next month, so and it goes completely the opposite. So, hey.
Okay. How can we support you now?
You can go to YouTube and search Halo City. The username is Halo City 293. Facebook Halo City. Instagram Wings letter N Halos. Got a lot of good music, poetry. Yeah, just all that good stuff, and hopefully some shows coming up soon.
Okay. Where we at?
Last one.
True or false? My family respects my boundaries. I don't know. I feel like I'm pretty good at enforcing my boundaries, so they don't really get a choice. But I know they would if they could. They would pry if they could, but I'm pretty good at drawing a line. So I say true and false.
Mostly true. How deep does this family questioning go? I'm just gonna stick to my side, family. I say it's just when my mom was here, she would pry a little bit, but I tell her what's going on. She like, all right, fine, whatever. So she respect my boundaries. My brother is like, you straight? I was like, yeah. You need anything? No. You sure? And he like, all right. And then he'll come back and check on me or he'll give me his input and how he would address it, but he wouldn't force the issue on me. So I would say they respect it pretty good.
I don't have any issues with boundaries with my folks. It took a while because my mom, I think I'm the only person up here not married or with children. That's the main thing that she kind of try to, bulge in a little bit too much with that, trying to figure out who I'm dating, where I'm going, all these type of things. But outside of that, they pretty much respect everything that I got going and respect that I can handle it without them trying to get all of my business. So we're pretty good.
I would say for the most part, my family respects my boundaries. But when family for me is really over the past few years, it hasn't been so much family by blood, but family by association. People that I've gotten to know, like really over the past 5-6 years, that have really become close to me, and we built that closeness based on everybody respecting each other's boundaries and realizing, like, hey, you been around folks that ain't respected your boundaries. I've been around people who haven't respected my boundaries too. Let's respect each other's boundaries. We can show these folks how we supposed to be living. And I, so it's a little bit different, I guess, for me to answer that question, because I haven't been really around my family that much to know whether or not they respect my boundaries since I've been on my own. Which once I left for college, and when I was 18, I just kind of been like a nomad, just going here to there, see where I want to settle down ultimately. So I talk to them on the phone, they check on me, ask questions, give me a little advice here and there. I take it or I don't. Yeah, other than my pops staying with me right now, which that's my pops. I ain't gonna leave him out in the cold. Like he transitioning through some things. So if it was up to me, it would just be, my wife and kids in the house. Sometimes not them. They gotta go too sometimes.
I feel that statement.
I feel like for the most part, my boundaries are respected.
Okay. I got a question I just thought about on top of this one. So, like, because both of y'all got kids, right? Mm-hmm. So, the boundary question just had me in another thought. So, how was it when y'all first kid and people trying to impose their baby knowledge on y'all? Because me, it's been hell.
I guess for me, that's kind of one of the benefits of not bringing up my kids where my family is and got direct access to us all the time.
No phone calls or nothing?
Yeah, they call, but it's like they can only know so much about what's going on because, for the most part, my wife, she's a hell of a nurturer, so she makes sure that they, she's also an herbalist, so she makes sure they not getting sick all the time. And me, I come from that country old school upbringing where I'm gonna make sure you got your coat on, make sure you eat all your food, you know what I'm saying? So you're gonna be healthy. We're gonna make sure that you well taken care of. So when they call and they might talk to him on the phone, see him on the FaceTime or whatever. But they all smile. They always all smile. So what can you have to say? Now when they come to visit, that's a little bit of a different thing.
Yeah.
But at that point, that's them your grandkids. Y'all, you gonna take care of how you take care of them. When they come back to me, they know what the rules is. But if you wanna, make sure they taking cod liver oil or whatever it is you want to do, fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's from both sides. Like her parents, my parents, they've been pretty good about like not imposing too much. Like there'll be times, like especially when the kids were younger, and if they got sick or something, then Granny's gonna do what grannies do. You know what I mean? They're not gonna sit there in silence, but they're not like hounding us or anything like that. And if we make a decision, they're not like in your ear trying to like make you second guess that choice or whatever. They're all real supportive. So we're really just blessed, for real.
No wonder.
I mean, you need to.
If I say you feel like
no, it's weird because I guess since she was a preemie when we brought her home, it's like at first we had everybody just like chiming in with like they 2 cents about, oh, you need to do this, for Elizabeth. You need to make sure like she like lay on her side. You can't have her elevated and you can't do this. And it's like we know this. Or we had like she had the issue, Elizabeth, she had the issues where she was like she suffered from like chronic constipation. Mm-hmm. So we went through this thing from like different milks. So we went from what was that? Infamil. She had to get the added rice. So $54 a thing. So she had to go.
Boy.
Yeah.
I know.
We spent I was spending $130 on milk every 2 weeks. So now she's on like regular milk and now. And so she takes balance between 2% and like fat the regular whole milk. And so she was still having constipation, so it was just really, really bad. So we tried different medicines, the doctor one, and we just had somebody just kept telling us like, well, you need to give her a trial on almond milk. Mm-hmm. And it's like, no, we're not trying on almond. You need to try on that, or try on some silk. When I said I'm allergic to, I have a nut allergy, and we ain't even checked the baby yet, so I'm not finna give her that. Mm-hmm. Well, I had so many kids, I was just trying to tell y'all what to do. I was like, well, I appreciate your advice, but I ain't finna take it. So it's one of them things that's learning when to push back on people think they have so much input on your child that you're raising. Yeah. And so it's just us trying to find that balance and when to push back. Because it's not saying like, oh, like we have friends like, oh yeah, you tried this and this and this, or like, what was the grape water? Yeah, try that for hiccups. Oh, that did work. Something like that. Or trying to have the baby sleep in different patterns. Cool, that works, but yeah, you need to get this for the baby, and you need to put that in her, and that'll work. I'm like, nah. So it's just trying to find the balance for pushing back. Nah.
I definitely think being a parent does like kind of like empower you to push back too.
Oh,
you're like,
man.
this one's mine. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh man, I'll be waiting.
Because I'll
be waiting.
It's like I know that like just the way like I grew up, like it was respect your elders. Like didn't really get questioned. Like my family's like real like big in church, but like becoming a parent made you be like made you like find more of a voice. It's like this one here is mine.
Yeah,
I live with them every day,
really,
and I know what they
did.
like and don't like, and what makes them sick, what don't make them sick. So, I hear you. I know you care, but I've spoken.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I got another question to go along with it. Since I'm not a father yet, I want to hear from you guys. What is the fear that you guys have of being fathers, and are you reaching, or would you say that you met the expectations as a father that you had in your mind?
Well, I can speak to this because 2024 was a hell of a year for me and my family. But there's always this certain pressure, or I guess underlying fear that one day you're gonna wake up and everybody's not gonna be taken care of. Mm-hmm. Just last year, there were times where we was really having to make some tough decisions about just eating, just having enough, because I got 4. Mm-hmm. So, what may feed a family of 3, single family, whatever, they don't quite get by in our house. Then I got boys. Mm-hmm. My boys about to be teenagers, so they eating. Mm-hmm. And there was, like I said, there was this. There's always been this pressure that there's not going to be enough, not enough food, not enough space in the house, not enough time to, put them in sports or tutoring, balancing, having a good time with them, and being that firm father figure that they need, and also attending to myself, because like they said on the last one, you can't pour from an empty cup. So just that pressure of not being enough of something.
Yeah.
It was just messing with what he said, man. Just making sure you have the time enough to be there, and you're not. Don't want to miss nothing. Just because she's Elizabeth is 13 months, but she's like at the age, her developmental age is like at 10 months. No, is at 11 months now.
Okay.
And so, just getting her to go to get to crawl, helping her get to crawling, and sitting up and stuff like that. Just really just what you said, man. Just making sure that you can be that father that they need to be, and having everything in place for them.
Yeah, I think just the pressure to kind of like you kind of want to just like maintain like a certain standard of living for your family and like not go below that. And it is different than like, you know, when you're single, no kids, like you know what I mean? Like I'd be cool with stretching some ramen noodles 3 days, you know what I mean? But it's like you don't want to do that and you don't want to settle for less. So it is kind of like you hold yourself to a higher standard.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's a lot of pressure, right?
Yeah.
Especially when it ain't going right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because daycare gonna be there to take their money.
Oh yeah.
And you know, you said 130 something every 2 weeks on.
I'm telling you, boy.
What also happened when she switched to whole milk?
Man, I bet. Cause whole milk ain't cheap, but
It's better than
it ain't.
152 every 2 weeks.
You hear me?
Okay. All right, let's go ahead. You got to do the regular one now.
I only did one chaos.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
You want the chaos?
Yeah,
Yeah,
one
I
more.
want the chaos. Don't get it out the way. See, I had a good one right there. I dropped it. How does your fear serve you?
Mm.
Ooh, I gotta think about that one.
Okay. I'll talk while you're doing it. You know.
Okay.
I think fear is a natural emotion that we have to deal with. Talk to it about my clients all the time. Dealing with anxiety. All anxiety is the fear of not knowing, typically. And it at times drives us to do more, right? So for me, that's what fear does for me in a sense. Now I dampen it a good bit where I know that I can handle whatever situations if it does fail. That's how I deal with my anxiety. But fear has pushed me to not settle in situations, right? It's pushed me to strive to get more degrees and start my own practice because I was scared to death to start my own practice. It was just a spare of the moment thing where I just said, look up LLCs and see how you do it, right? So for me, fear is necessary evil at times. You just can't let it control you, if that makes sense. So
I say fear. What was the question?
How does your fear serve you?
It made me. Fear made me healthier. At my highest, I weighed 386. 362 now. Thank you. But what really scared me was is diabetes. It runs really bad in my family. My brother got it. My mom had it. Grandma had it. Everybody has it. But I don't have it. So I went to the doctor and he's like, "Oh, well, you pre-diabetic." I was like, "Pre what?" And so he was telling me, like, it was at the point where he's like, "Well, you can get it down, nothing, but if it goes over to like I think it was like 6.3, like I'll be considered diabetic and I have to like insulin and stuff like that." And I know me, like I barely almost remember taking my medicine some days, but if I had to take insulin, I end up in the hospital or I'll be feeling sick on driving or something like that. It's like I know I can't do this. I can't do this. And plus, and I want to be there now to watch my baby grow. And so I started eating better and I started cutting out drinks. I used to drink almost about 2 or 3 drinks a day. I go down to maybe like 1 drink a day and then maybe two drinks a week. and I started eating more vegetables than anything. Like I'm not a person, like I don't know no diets or nothing. I don't understand it because so like 50 billion of them. All I know, if I eat more vegetables,
Go get some results.
so I'm gonna get some results. And I eat more grilled and lean meats, I'm gonna get some results. I stay away from fried chicken and stuff like that. And it works. So I say fear has driven me to be more healthier and be more active. During my lunch break, since we got a gym at the hospital, I go down there and I walk for about 2 miles, and then I come back. I still eat bad. I'm not just saying like, oh, I eat heavy, great, but I eat it in moderations now. So that's what fear did for me.
Okay.
I think that for like a lot of my life, fear has like made me like hesitant to do stuff, and I feel like now that I'm older, it more depends. Like if I'm like really like actually know what I'm scared of, then it makes me like sharper. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I think of like contingencies and what I want to happen, what I don't want to happen, and I feel like I have more control of the situation when I actually like have like a full understanding of like what my fears are. But I do know that like I'm like risk averse, and so like if I get like any type of like off feeling about something, like I'll just completely 180 away from it. But I guess like now that I'm like older in my life, like I said, and I like starting to like realize this about myself, when I start to fear things, I'll kind of like just like want to touch the fire, just like, all right, what am I actually like, what can happen, what's wrong. So it's kind of like a work in progress.
Okay. What would y'all say is one of y'all's biggest fears at this point?
Man, for me, what is exactly what I talked about just a minute ago is just making sure that the people in my household, my family, is good. I feel like everything outside of that is gonna work out. But as long as they got what they need, what they want, granted they probably won't have everything they want ever, but everything that they need, space that they need, that they're well taken care of, that they are able to trust me as a leader, like most everything else will be all right. That's something I feel. But there's definitely a fear of mine, just not being able to show up as a father and husband.
Okay. What about y'all?
Just having the bottom just drop out from under me. This worst case scenario. Other than that, that's really just scares me. Even though it's like one of the things it's not likely to happen. It's just constantly thinking like, what can I be prepared in this situation? How much we got in our savings for this situation, or something like that. But it goes back to, like he was saying, just being the father and husband that they want you to be. So
I think my biggest fears is like some like Final Destination ass shit happening to me.
And that's what I was about to say.
Like, honestly, like I watched like all three of those movies because like my grandma was like sick and dying in the hospital, so they had like all the cousins. We were younger at my uncle's house, and they just wasn't watching the kids, so they just had our young asses just going through DVDs, and we watched all the movies they had up to that point, just back to back to back. And I was young, and I'm just like, I feel like that's kind of made me like.
Well, I couldn't ride in nobody's car if I did that.
Man, I swear to God, I be looking at shit. You keep it in 10 and 2. Do you see? You know what I mean? I don't like.
Truck carrying that wood right there.
I don't like riding in the car with people. I don't like driving other people's cars. I don't like riding on the interstate, especially Mobile. Y'all drive fucking crazy. I don't know what's wrong with people down here, but yeah, I'm not from here, by the way. But yeah, y'all drive insane, and it's not good for my anxiety.
The thing for me,
Same thing. Where you from?
Philly.
Philly?
Yeah.
You Eagles fan?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
We
What you
good.
mean? Y'all start like so weird up there, bro.
But I mean, like, it's not like just risk of certain death just by driving a car.
Man, I'll never forget. I went down there by City Hall, and it was like this intersection. You had a light here, a light corner right here, and one pointing this way. And I'm just sitting in traffic, like, until somebody honk at me, and I'm just started driving slow.
Man,
They went around me and showed me which way to go. I was like, man.
that sound like Spring Hill and Broad.
It is. Imagine a whole city like that, man.
Yeah, too much.
That's what I'm saying. And then like the whole, like y'all have a very strange relationship with the stoplight. Like that red light's a suggestion. You don't really care. I've seen people like I saw somebody today. Like there's like you're not even close, bro. Like you're just running that shit, and then like. Yeah, it was on the way here. Buddy, like, slammed on his horn as he was running the red, like, hey, don't y'all try to go on green because your ass gonna get hit. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, I swear. So,
I think that's bad. Just wait for Tuesday and Wednesday.
Man, I'm gonna be in the house at the crib, but like I said, it's just, yeah, some Final Destination that shit happening to me. I feel like maybe it's like the not being in control type thing.
And that's how I feel about being on airplanes.
Yeah.
Because once the planes start going down, like it ain't even got to crash. You might as well just go ahead and have them ready to get me off. I'm not gonna make it. You start nose down.
Then,
that's it.
I just
don't
like
care if you
like
fix it or not.
Because me and Jeremy work together, bro. Like I think about this shit all the time. Like where we work, right? It's sorry people at every fucking job. What if you riding on the sorry nigga airplane that day? Like you feel me? Like. You feel me? I'll just be thinking about that shit. Like, bro, like, does Buddy have his shit together? So, yeah, that'd be my biggest fear is like other people. Yeah.
That's why you gotta drink before you on the plane.
Man, that is the way to go.
Oh well.
That is the way to go.
It is what it is. That's me. I've been playing. You already? Yeah, I'm good.
Well, y'all coping mechanisms are horrible.
I'm like, I'm on the plane. Go. I can't do nothing.
So he got a drink. Okay.
Yeah, it do be fun being drunk on the plane. I do make it better.
I'm scared to do that.
What?
Be drunk on the plane. I feel like my stomach's just gonna go crazy.
Ah man.
Man.
Once you get past the
little drinking, download them series on Netflix. I'm making sure like the exact like flight time. I got that much stuff to watch.
For real.
So I don't have to think about nothing.
Okay. All right. So I pulled another chaos. It says, I'm the most vulnerable with this person. Probably my siblings, my brother and sister. I think they're the only two people that, obviously, they know me better than anybody else. So, not even really thinking deeper than that. So those are my two main people. What I got?
Yeah, my wife.
I would think so.
Yeah.
I would hope so.
It's my wife.
That's it.
Do y'all feel like y'all really could be vulnerable with them though?
Yeah.
You feel safe?
Yeah.
Well, y'all blessed.
There was a time where I didn't, and we did a lot of conversations, a lot of hard conversations, a lot of deep diving into stuff that might have happened before I even knew her, that helped her understand why I might have been struggling in this certain thing, or with even just being vulnerable itself, and vice versa. She might have thought she was being vulnerable, but me not being vulnerable made it hard for me to see that she wasn't being vulnerable. So once I started pouring certain things out and opening up, I realized, okay, I'm missing a whole other side of you because you don't know this side of me. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I get you.
What was the hardest thing for you to become vulnerable about?
So she already had 2 kids before we got together. So when she became pregnant with my first son, biologically, it was hard for me to be like, all right, yes, I got a child on the way. Everything that came to me was, we already ain't doing great. We all right, but we ain't up by any means. We hadn't been together that long. I think we had maybe been together a year. So we weren't engaged, weren't married, of course. We had our struggles just with the whole vulnerability thing. Like, we weren't understanding each other to an extent. And now you add a baby in the mix, and it's like, she didn't like that I wasn't excited. But I had to break down why I wasn't excited, why it was so hard for me to be like, look at it the way she was looking at it, because she had done this already, and she had taken care of these her two boys on her own before I came into the picture. So she's like, yeah, we can figure this out. We can do this. All we gotta do is X, Y, Z. They're small. They don't take up a lot of space, time, etc. And I'm just looking at, I've never done this before. I don't know what to expect. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how you could be cool right now. I'm over here struggling and panicking. And it was just so much that I didn't want for my kids that I didn't want for myself. As far as just living a life of repeating cycles of poverty, of broken homes, you know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, at this point, we were still kind of having our struggles. So to bring another child into what I thought at the time could have possibly been a broken home was a no-go for me. I didn't want to do it. So, we had tension for a couple of days, and it allowed me like time to go through why I was feeling how I was feeling. And I was able to come to her and just express everything that I said to y'all, and she was able to give me this certain kind of confidence, like, you could do this, like, you got this, I believe in you, like, we wouldn't be in this situation if I thought you could do this, if I didn't think you could do this. So that was definitely one of the toughest conversations we had to have. One of the toughest times, because that went on for a few days before I even understood why I felt the way I felt. You know what I'm saying?
Most vulnerable conversations you had with your wife?
Most vulnerable conversation? Just trying to, all of us, we just really just been have our trials and tribulations within like the past 2 years. That was the biggest thing. Other than that, because we would talk about things, but it wouldn't be, we wouldn't sit down and talk about things, or it'd be if we got in an argument about something, and we made a big practice that we're not gonna go to bed angry. We're not gonna go to bed angry. It's not. We're not gonna go to bed with the issue not solved. Mm-hmm. So we can go to bed angry and wake up in the morning, we'd be fine. But we gotta fix that issue that night. But I say the biggest challenge is just how to. It's really hard for me to answer this question because, like, I can talk to her about anything, and she expresses that she listens to me, and she brings things to me in a different view because I'm more tunnel vision, and she comes out of nowhere and just come out with like, oh damn, I didn't think about it like that.
Right.
And in a vulnerable state, with her getting more vulnerable with me, when I'm in a vulnerable state, she just takes me and just listens and just lets me vent. Because I'm not the type of person that I don't need an answer. I just need to vent and get it off my chest, and I just need somebody just to listen. Mm-hmm. And then just tell them like that you sincerely know it's going to be okay. Like, it's going to be okay.
How powerful is that for you?
It's every time she does it, it just makes me fall in love with it all over again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like it's the best thing. It's the best feeling. It's Teddy Pendergrass had a song was like being in love and being loved in return is like the only thing my heart desires.
Oh no.
I feel that 100% with TK. Like I can imagine myself with nobody else to be more vulnerable with the way I am with my wife. And sometimes it takes me a moment to get to that point to like I be so frustrated or don't know how to talk to it, and she just let me go through my feelings and just stares at me, and then when I can calm down, she listens to me and just like, okay, this is what you need to do and this and this and this, and it's so powerful. It's the best goddamn feeling in the whole world. So
For me, it's just like being able to talk about like personal failures, because like it's not really like, I guess, like ego affirming, and I think just like kind of for like most men in general, like you kind of avoid talking about times where you've fallen short, and I know that I did that for a long time, and like when you don't do that, you don't ever like really reflect or move past that point. But like I've been able to do that with my wife, and it's been like being able to like talk to her about it and being like hearing another person's perspective, it like just helps you reflect, and it's kind of just like helped me get better with things where like, all right, well, I guess going back to like wanting to like avoid like risk and stuff, like you find yourself like not really trying or attempting things because you're like, you have that fear of failure. Well, now with my wife and like knowing that she just supports me and like I can talk to her about these things, like you don't really have that fear of making the attempt anymore. Anyway, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm jealous of them. They got it, right? They got it. All right. Yeah, y'all just want me to keep picking up Chaos Trucker. I'll do that since they can't do it. No? All right. Go ahead.
that's one big one. What do you think may be a possible source of conflict among our demographics, and what can we do about it now?
That's cool.
What do you think may be a possible source of conflict among our demographics, and what can we do about it now? I still go to cancel before cancel social media.
That's one.
Cancel social media.
Yeah.
What is it about social media though?
I think the showing off. It's it's the same thing. You like people don't act a certain way if they don't have the audience. Where it's like you always have the audience now, and like people pull out their phone. It's like it's in like every action they do. It's like this is performative because you pulled out your phone because you want people to see it. Like if you just wanted to do whatever it was you were going to do, you would
Just
do it. You know what I mean? So I think that. I think that like not get rid of like gentle parenting, but I do think that especially like for young black men, it's gotten to the point where it's like, all right, like we're joking about it, like we're calling YNs, but it's like, bro, we shouldn't be scared of these little kids. Like I remember one time we were riding through, like I was young, we were riding through like this rough ass neighborhood where my mom's from, and I'm just looking around and I'm being scary as hell. My dad said to me, son, it don't make no sense whatsoever to be scared of your own fucking people. It's silly. Like it's fucking crazy. Like that's the soft side part of him, because he'd probably get robbed because he's getting everybody the benefit of the doubt. But I'm just saying though, like, so I do think that there needs to be like more like actual discipline at these kids' lives at like an earlier point in their life, because by the time they hit like the teenage years, especially if it's a single mother, like these boys are like grown man size. You know what I mean? And a woman by herself, 16-year-old boy, she tells him to do something. If he really don't want to do it, what other recourse does she have but to call somebody? If she don't have like a brother or something, she gonna have to call the police on them. And I feel like a lot of these kids, the first time they ever get really disciplined in their life, they're getting arrested. And they don't see the correlation between their actions and the consequences they suffer, because they haven't been getting this discipline their entire life. Like it's a learned behavior. So
It's funny you mentioned the gentle parenting, because them motherfuckers be the first ones ready to fight. You talk about being hard on some kids. All the gentle shit go out the window. So you put your hands on your kids? Yes. But I feel like also when it comes to kids, because I agree with you, like when it comes to kids, put it like this: we can go outside every day for the next month, and I could tell my young kids, 4 or 5, whatever, however old they may be, hey, don't run out in the street. Don't run out in the street. And over again, you might have to tell them that 30 times you go out in the street, 13 times, 14 times, hey, don't run out in the street. But once they get a good pop, that pop sticks with them more than the dangers of getting hit by a car, because they didn't experience that. And it's like, okay, that shit actually hurt. So I don't know what it's like to get hit by a car.
I mean,
but I know my dad told me not to run out in the street.
My mom was like,
popping me. I know that shit gonna hurt.
So. My mom was like, she's hardcore. Like she'd get graphic. She'd be like, you know, like you see when the bugs hit the windshield, that's gonna be yo ass. Like swear to, like really put the fear in you. Like, you know. So I just kind of feel like kids are smarter than people give them credit to. You can kind of just tell them some things sometimes. Like don't do that because this is going to happen, not just because I said so. I feel like that's another part of it too. Like if you don't explain to them like they're an intelligent human being, and if they have like any type of like rebel in their personality, well, that's not a good enough explanation. They're just gonna
real quick.
Yeah, like you gotta explain. Like you know, it feels silly like having to explain yourself to a 3-year-old, but if they understand, you should. So
I do think that there's just a certain level of understanding that they just won't have because they don't have certain experiences.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you might be mom, you might be dad, and you might be a great person, but run out in the street is pretty fun. And I don't know how often I'm gonna get to do this. So today I'm gonna take my chances.
Yeah.
So but I definitely think that there's also a reverse side to it, to kind of get back to the question where what's causing certain things is that some parents put too much discipline on their kids, didn't let them do anything. So the moment they got a little bit of freedom, them niggas went buck wild. The moment, or got to a point where they felt like, you know, they had to start sneaking and doing things. Sneaking and hanging with certain crowds that influence certain things because your square ass at the house not letting them do nothing.
Yeah.
You feel me? You want to keep me locked in all day, but you know, I want to go do what they say, bald head
hoe shit. Yeah.
So, but anyway, I think that when it comes to the social media side of things, I think that plays a factor, and I just feel like we don't realize who the true enemy is. Mm-hmm. So, you know, this person that's accessible to me, who I can see, I can find, I see them doing XYZ on social media, like they might have just rented a car and been riding around in it for a few weeks and sitting on top of the hood with J's on and kicking their feet out and all kind of stuff like that, and you like, why I can't be like that? Like, I done follow all these rules. Mm-hmm. I done been this straight line, straight and arrow for all these years. I've been in medical school for all these years. And now I gotta watch YGK Element go and come up with $1 million out of nowhere because he talking about selling dope and killing people. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah. And it makes me think more about the question, media as a whole, not just social media, and how we are represented as a monolith. And we all have to fit a certain aesthetic to feel comfortable.
Right.
I think we're doing better now at that, where kids now can watch anime and feel okay about it.
Yeah.
But when we were coming up, that wasn't it, outside of like Dragon Ball Z. Right?
Yeah.
So being able to be more free and not feel like you have to be that YN with the shiesty on and all that type of stuff. And the girls having to be like a Meg Thee Stallion type person. Not having the diversity of of people to look up to. My favorite TV show of all time is The Cosby Show, right? That's what I wanted my life to be like. I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to marry some well-to-do women, have children, all that type of stuff. We don't really have, well, they don't look at that representation anymore. So I think that's something that we can do to improve with the issues in our community. Now, the question I have is like, what are we willing to do? Right?
Yeah.
Because the thing is, a lot of these kids, they're not going to have fathers or a good mom, right? And you can take care of your kids, but after the age of 12, y'all not the main influencer anymore. Is there people that's around them, right? So are we willing to aid those older kids, or are we just going to focus on our own, right? And I think that's something that we got to really start thinking about, figure out how we're going to actually help our community. Because back in the day, that's what the black community was built on, was being together. We're so isolated now. Like, I'm going to take care of me and mine, right? So how are we going to bring in these other children to aid them?
Real quick, she got 10 more minutes.
Cool. So that's a question if y'all want to answer that.
Well, to be honest, I ain't got the patience for everybody else's kids.
I'll say just occupy their time, man.
But what I will say is that anybody that I know that's coaching a little league football team, baseball team, basketball team,
Hey,
putting together boys and girls clubs, whatever. If I got it, I'm supporting, I'm showing up, I'm putting bread into it. I might not be able to commit to something full time, but what I can do to help, I'm absolutely gonna do, and I'm gonna do everything I can with my children to instill a certain type of leadership in them, so when they out in the real world, they won't be so easily swayed, rather sway other kids to be more like what I try to instill in them. And that's just my honest answer. I probably, I wish I could do more, but I ain't got it.
I'm gonna just plug. I go to Lion Pride Muay Thai, black-owned martial arts gym here in Mobile. Wearing the shirt here, so they have kids classes starting at 7. So I think stuff like that's good. Just like put structure in their life, and it kind of teaches them like mutual respect and kind of how to handle. Because like if you get hit, you're gonna get upset, but if you don't control your emotions, you're gonna keep getting hit. So I think it's a good like physical and mental exercise, especially for the young kids. So
You say you go there or you work there?
yeah, I go there.
You go there.
Yeah.
Okay. They do adults too? They do adults too?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Like Muay Thai, one thing you really don't see for it is like after school programs. You don't see
Yeah.
after school programs. You don't see like really big summer programs or anything like that. Like to be honest, the only thing I knew that's an after school program, I know like that's maybe like one or two, a couple of boys and girls clubs still open. You got you got Pritchard Boxing Academy.
Right.
They do really good things over there, but from like other than that, you really don't hear anything. Like we had, I know when I was in elementary school way long ago, we had Boys and Girls Club at Holloway, and you don't see things like that. We don't have that too many of the big summer programs because we had NYSP, we had
Bishop State.
down at Bishop State, you had like sewing programs, you had like swim leagues and everything like, but you don't see those no more.
Yeah.
For kids to go to, and then it would help. It would help a lot because as I'm seeing now as a parent, I only got one. Like y'all got multiple. Y'all some superheroes to me.
That's why I ain't got patience with nobody else.
Boy, I understand that now. Everybody's like, you want to have two multiple kids? Said, nah, I'm good, bro. This is it. This was done.
Yeah.
But you don't see. Because parents, when you get home, and I can understand that now, you be ripping and running because you coming down from work, you trying to get decompress them, and then you got to get the kids. You go back to get food, get them fed, get them ready for bed, and like boom, your night's over with. It's over with.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
With the 2-year-old, you hope it's over with. Cause she stay up to about 2-3 in the morning.
Boy, she be up there watching TV, and we be sitting up there dying.
Exactly.
And you know what? I looked this up, and I think it's called like subconsciously trying to like reclaim your time. You just stay up late because you didn't get to do stuff you wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I know I've been doing that. I've been up late playing a lot of Skyrim and telling Jeremy all about it at work. But yeah, I don't know. I think I need to probably like have like a written schedule or something to like allot time for myself, because I'm not good at keeping like a schedule. Like some people can just do that. They just keep a schedule, don't have to write it down. They're just like good at freestyling, and I'm not one of them.
Oh, nah, man. I'm that same way now. Not that you say that, because I be staying up like now. I be playing Marvel Rivals, or then playing Marvel Rivals, and like on the weekends it's I may get a Lego set or do something build like that. But during the week, like my time is it ain't there, because my wife she's a school teacher, and then she comes home certain nights she teach 2 college classes. And then I think she got something else. She does so much shit during the week. So about 3 days out the week, I'm being little mama until my wife get done, and then she comes in. We be talking, and we have our little decompress moment with the baby. But you ain't got that much time.
Yeah.
I think really like for us, I know we started having, because she was working a job where she could really pick her hours throughout the week. So she might work 3-4 hours here, 3-4 hours there. But we got to a point where we started every Sunday. We would have a talk and go through the entire week. And a couple of times a week, there would be times set out specifically for her to tend to the children. And I go do what I want to do, whether it be go in my office for a minute, where I want to go hoop. Like, though that I know that at 6 o'clock on Wednesday and at 5:30 on Friday, I got 2-3 hours to myself to go do what I want to do, and we make sure that she has that time as well, because it's gonna make it easier when it's time for me to get my time.
Yeah.
Like you a little bit refreshed and relaxed. Now I'm finna go out here and chill with my boys. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely think that's important. I think, if I could make a suggestion, that y'all definitely do that. I feel like women appreciate that type of thing as well, making sure that, you ain't always got to have the baby. I'm going to take over this. I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like a hybrid schedule. You don't have to have exactly what you're going to do every time, but having the space that you have time to do it. Right. I think that's a big deal for everybody.
And it got to be important to her and to you to know that regardless of what's going on, I might not be feeling the best, but I'm going to do what I can to make sure you got your time that we agreed to.
Yep. Can't lose your identity, man. That's the main thing. You got to be able to live your life still. So I guess we got probably like 5 minutes left, so we're going to do one more. I'll put one more chaos, and then, it's 2 of them. All right, let's see. This is long for no reason. Are men taught to distrust women? That's a good question.
Good question.
I would say that we're taught to distrust each other. In general, I don't think it's genderized just on one side. I see it in my practice all the time. Social media, YouTube, these gender wars have been going on for the last 5 years. It's ridiculous, putting everybody against each other. But I think we are taught to distrust. I was talking to someone about it recently, about how we have like this trauma responses with people where we haven't been through something, but we are afraid of it. As in, like, we may not be millionaires, but we see Dr. Dre lose all this money. Now we worried about somebody taking all our money, right? So, but I see this with women too that never been cheated on, right? And they already have this fear embedded in them, right? So, do I think that we're taught to be this way? Yeah, because people go through hurt, and they try to pass it on in a way to, like, young blood, don't trust these women, da 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 da. They'll just go out there and do your thing. But I think it's counterproductive at the end of the day.
Yeah. I'll say not really. Well, for me, not really. I just was told don't eat their spaghetti on the first date.
That's right. Haitian women.
If you know you're gonna be with somebody that you want to spend your life with, you just make sure you go and talk over the most important things with them, and get that out the way. But if it's somebody you ain't got no future with, then don't put that time and effort into it, and don't really put your finances into it. If you know you're not, then you know what y'all both doing. Don't even worry about it. So
I feel like our generation is kind of like we grew up in like that transition phase where like our parents' generation, like they're much more romantic,
Mm-hmm.
and like the music and stuff that that men would make would be about the woman they're in love
Begging.
with or whatever. You know, they wouldn't. And you know, they might be doing their little dirt behind the scenes because you know the Motown singers are cheating on everything, but I guess like the way they talked about it, it wasn't like you're the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's weird. It's kind of because I got 3 girls, and it just kind of makes you think like what's in store for the future. You know what I mean? Like going back to like the YN thing. Like you don't know what type of person like your kids will meet
Yeah.
growing up later in life, and I don't think that you know young boys growing up now are being taught the same values as like our generation was, and girls either. And I just think they're like, you know, they're just being portrayed in a different light, and that, you know, they are like they see each other as like an antagonist much more so than like when we were growing up. So like we're in like a weird transition age group where it's like I can see why these young kids think like that, but I don't think like that. So
Yeah, I agree. I think just media has a lot to do with all this stuff. Because, you know, when you can listen to the radio and the women that are accessible to everybody. You know, meaning accessible, meaning you can see them easily. You ain't gotta look hard to find out who they are, what they got going on.
Right.
But what Glow said, she fuck nigga free. She got a dark skinned nigga with dread, light skinned nigga with waves. So it's like I don't necessarily think that there's anybody. I ain't gonna say there's nobody, because there are people that have been hurt and want to pass their experiences on to everybody else because they might have trusted somebody too fast, or trusted somebody that didn't really want them and didn't know how to accept I don't want you, or you know, it's just so many different things that go into it that'll make somebody try to teach somebody else something about women or men, vice versa. But I think when we see stuff like that, and then we hear again, even the dudes that's doing a lot of the things we want to do, that's able to be financially secure and things like that, you hear them talk about I ain't paying no woman this, I ain't trusting no woman this. And we taught that, but we not taught that by just the people that are around us. This is broadcast to us, put in our ears and our faces every day, and we taking it in. We might not realize that we taking it in, but once you start, if you were to take some of the lyrics that you hear in certain songs and read them, like we sitting here right now and just read through them, you
fucking appalled. Like, my nigga, what is wrong with
maybe
you?
I shouldn't
Bro?
be
Like,
saying this. Don't
you need a hug, my boy.
Don't worry
Like,
about it. So yeah, I do think we're taught it in that way for sure.
do you feel like it's intentional, like this message is being broadcast like to our community intentionally?
That's a whole different conversation.
Because I feel like other communities, they'll put that shit in like the fucking will. Like you got to get married by this age, you got to go to college, or you not getting this $2 million trust fund. Like it is like codified to them.
Right.
And so I'm like, if they go so far out of their way to like make that a point to their kids, but like they own all these media companies that's broadcasting the opposite message to us, it's like this shit ain't on accident.
Right.
To me, so
But I don't think the accident is that they're necessarily trying to make us hate each other. That could be part of it, but I think the overall point of it is that bread.
Yep.
Because that negativity, that ratchetness, that, you know, not being a fuck nigga, not being a you know what I'm saying. Nowadays women,
It sells.
Yeah.
It sells.
they can't even be in
I
the
don't know.
drive
I feel like
without being humiliated.
I feel like if it was different values being pushed, then eventually, like there would just be like more growth in the community, and there'd come a point where like we take ownership of like the media that we consume.
Yeah.
and then they stop making that money because we own it now. But if they just keep us kind of like ignorant as hell,
It's just gonna be difficult to do.
yeah,
Definitely different.
Because like Snoop is performing for Trump.
yeah.
Up, right. So the people that we look
For
up
real?
to, yeah, he is. Yeah. See, so it's the people that we would want to do those things that are not doing it. And the positive people, I'm not gonna get on my boy. I've talked about J. Cole and the hate that he gets for no reason, right? Because he spits a lot of positivity.
Yeah.
Right? But someone like Dirk or someone like that talking about killing people and actually is killing people, right?
Yeah.
He gets the love and the shine, right?
It's
Free him.
Right.
like they wouldn't let in any other circumstance besides like being a rapper, they wouldn't let somebody like Lil Durk anywhere near their organization. Like, you got a
Right.
criminal record, you kill people, you do drugs. Security, they call it security, but like,
Nah, they
but it's
work.
like, oh, but you got a message, you're gonna have to go influence some kids. There's a TV screen, get in front.
That's
Like,
a hell of an
it's-
observation.
It's crazy.
So, how you want me to end it?
The same way you
What I said.
All right, so thank you. Thanks for watching. This has been Reasons.
What's it? The what?
So thank you for watching. This has been Reasons with the 2020 Network. I am.
Okay. All right. Thank you guys for joining us and watching. This is Reasons. My name is Terrence Battles, licensed practicing therapist, and that's it. I don't know. That wasn't good. What else? Come and do it again.
Peace. Hope to see you in the next one.
All right. I'll do it again. Yeah. I ain't used to this stuff. All right. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us. This is the 2020 Reasons.
2020 Network.
Boy, I see how they. I don't know how people do this media stuff. All right, 23 Reasons. Okay. All right, this is my last time. All right, y'all. All right, thank you for joining us. This is 2020 Reasons. My name is Terrence. We'll see you next time.